Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very insightful video topic for you today. I'm going to be answering questions from my YouTube community AMA that I posted one day ago. We've got 28 separate questions about the market here. I've highlighted probably 10 of them, and I'm going to be answering those 10. I think they're very important. I think everyone is going to get a massive amount of value from my answer to these questions. Potentially, you'll be the judge of that. So we're not going to be looking at the charts directly today, but we will be bringing up the charts when it's necessary to answer the questions here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Before we do so, the BingX and Bitfinex exchanges, two exchanges that I advertise on this YouTube channel, I handpicked them myself. They did not reach out for me for partnership, offering me money or any of this. I reached out to them for partnership. I made the demands and I chose these exchanges firsthand. We've got Bitfinex and BingX. Both are global non-KYC, so everyone watching this video can sign up, no restrictions to countries. Both have never been hacked before, so historically they've been very safe, and both have very low trading fees. Now, with my referral link down below, you will get a 15% trading fee discount for life on every single buy and sell you make, as well as up to 5,500 USDT in rewards on Bitfinex and 4,000 on BingX, just with my referral links down below. Use those links and sign up, help the channel and help yourself. Let's get into the content here today. Ladies and gentlemen, make use of the timestamps. I'm going to be timestamping this video for different questions. If you're interested in some and not interested in others, you can skip around through the timestamps. Let's get into it, just answering from the top of the list down to the bottom of the list. Let's start with this question right here from Cali Family Man. The question: I have always wondered why everything goes up the exact moment Bitcoin goes up. To a certain degree, most assets go up when BTC goes up or down. So he's asking about the correlation between altcoins and Bitcoin. Obviously, when Bitcoin rises, altcoins generally do as well. And when Bitcoin drops downwards, altcoins generally do as well. And it happens instantly. It's almost instant. It's not quite instant, but it's almost instant. Now, why does that occur, right? It's not necessarily because there's a bunch of people waiting for Bitcoin to move and selling a bunch of assets at once and buying a bunch of assets at once. It's to do with a few things. First of all, you have trading bots, okay? Bots that are programmed via algorithms to trade markets instantly as soon as things occur. And they're trading various assets. But I think the main reason, personally, is the snowball effect, okay? People have orders set. People aren't just writing their trades, freelance with no orders, generally speaking, especially when you're talking about leverage trading. But even on spot trading, all of the big players, the whales, the people with amounts of money in the market that are actually going to move the market, they have stop losses, they have take profit targets. And obviously when the price moved down on Bitcoin, okay, what happens is you have a snowball effect, you have a domino effect where someone's order is being taken, the price goes further down, another person's order is being taken, the price goes further down. It doesn't necessarily have to be active participation in the market. There can just be a snowball effect or a domino effect, however you want to put it, of orders that are being triggered over and over and over again. And that happens on altcoins as well. So you only need a very small movement in altcoin price. So say Bitcoin drops downwards, someone gets scared, someone with a relatively large position in altcoins gets scared, they sell on spot, and then all of a sudden their selling on spot leads to a domino effect of orders being triggered that collapses the price downwards. This happens on Bitcoin, altcoins, every asset, but it happens when Bitcoin moves first. So you need an initial seller, an initial person on spot, whether it be a bot or whether it be someone actually clicking sell, and then you can have domino effects that form from there, and that happens across all assets, but people react to Bitcoin as Bitcoin is the largest asset in the cryptocurrency market. They're looking at the Bitcoin price. They see Bitcoin going downwards, they get scared, they get shaken out. That leads to the snowball effect. So that's how I guess altcoins get dragged down with Bitcoin when Bitcoin drops, or altcoins pump up with Bitcoin when Bitcoin pumps. That's how it works. Okay, moving on to the next question by James here. What indicators do we honestly have left to predict Bitcoin price action? Okay, so he's referring to the recent kind of weird structure we've seen, and this is a weird structure, let's just say that. Ever since ETFs, Bitcoin's been acting very, very strange. That's a known fact. And he's saying, for example, things like bull market support band, which historically have been extremely accurate for Bitcoin, literally being the base for every single correction throughout this 2.5-year period here, from 2015 to late 2017. Every single drop was eaten up perfectly by that bull market support band. It was one of the easiest market environments to trade. All you needed to do was look at the bull market support band and buy the whole way up. It was the easiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's really a shame that those kind of market environments don't exist anymore. And, you know, bull market support band, very, very clean. And now, unfortunately, it's getting very messy. We've seen a lot of fake outs recently, especially in the last few weeks. You know, as you can see, fake out right here, fake out right here. And if we go upwards, guess what? That's another fake out. But I wouldn't be too pessimistic, James. I think I was a little bit pessimistic last week, especially during this correction. But I'm not... Look, there's no denying that this structure here has been ridiculously untradeable, almost untradeable, especially since this mid-June period here when we dropped down from that neckline. From there onwards, it's been basically untradeable, and we have been ignoring all indicators. I am hoping that this is just an irrational period of price action. I think it's a possibility that we could salvage some of these indicators that look lost at the moment. So I'm not going to comment too much on your question there. I don't think that anything's definitely lost at this point. If we do go upwards here and we regain correlation to the S&P 500, I'm not necessarily, you know, thinking it's the end of the world. Because again, we have to remember, right? We bring up the S&P 500. We've seen a very, very, very irrational decorrelation, in fact, reverse correlation from the S&P during a lot of the price movements that entail Bitcoin faking out below and above the bull market support band. Like, I think we've reconnected now for the most part, but even now I look at the price and, you know, S&P's skyrocketing and Bitcoin's still hovering below its resistance and actually going downwards. This started, again, when did it start? It started on the breakdown of a neckline here in June. So at this point, I'm not willing to say that we've definitely broken validity of all these indicators that historically been very reliable. They are getting messy, but hopefully we can look back on this situation in a few months and just think, oh, that was just irrational price action. We can almost ignore it, right? And just remember in the back of our minds, just like COVID, right? No one is blaming the validity of the bull market support band for breaking down during the COVID drop, right? The COVID drop was irrational price action. We know that. So hopefully that's what we can attribute to this in the future too. Hopefully we don't lose validity of these indicators. That's something I have to comment on in a few months when I get full clarity of what the situation is right now. As you know, we're in an uncertain market environment still. We just don't have that clarity right now. Next question. At what BTC price would you suggest de-risking and completely selling out of the market? Okay, so we can look at invalidation lines. The invalidation line that I stand by is the one that I've been drawing up for a few months here. It stems backwards from a wick back here in 2019, cuts through the price action, going through something like this, right? I could sit here and drawing it perfectly, but you get the gist of it. It comes from the peak before the crash in 2018, cuts through some price action, hits that wick there, hits a few wicks throughout 2019 quite cleanly. It acts as a base for support during 2021 on multiple occasions, a base for resistance in the ETF period, base for support right here. Again, I could draw it more cleanly. In fact, I probably will when I zoom in because I know exactly where the wick is meant to touch. It's meant to touch right there if you draw it perfectly. As you can see, resistance, support. This is a 6-year long resistance and support line on Bitcoin that cuts through the price action very, very cleanly on a macro scale. And I think this is really the invalidation line you need to be looking at. That's me personally. I think also you can look at the big descending channel formation that's going on Bitcoin, something like this. That's how it looks. Again, I've discussed this multiple times. You've probably seen YouTubers discuss it as well. It's something like that, right? A massive kind of descending channel formation. If both of those things break, you have to really wonder, what are you holding on for, right? At some point, you have to consider, selling and de-risking. For me personally, this line is the thing. Now, we did fake out very viciously and very violently below that line. We went all the way downwards to around 49,000, which is, 6,000 USD or 5,000 USD below that line. But we came back upwards in the daily candle close and actually held it. So that line is very clearly, the market's showing us that even though we went below it, the daily candle close still held on it. The market's showing us very clearly that is the support line. I mean, we wouldn't have, it would be a massive coincidence to close right there on the daily candle. If you want to be a little bit more risk, I guess if you want to take more risk, you can look at a line like this, for example. But I don't think it's doing you much good. If this line breaks, that's a break of the channel, the overarching channel. That's a rejection from the center line of a channel. That's a rejection from bull market support band, rejection from 250-day SMA. I mean, everything would be destroyed at that point. I don't really know why you'd be hanging on and waiting for lower and lower and lower. You're just going to get wrecked. But I suppose we'll have to, react when it happens, if it happens. I can't really make the call right now. What I can do is point to lines that we could potentially be looking at when it happens. I don't like having concrete things, you should sell if this happens, because at the end of the day, it is about adaptability. We have to be able to have that adaptability, and I retain the right to be adaptable. But right now, those are the things I'm looking at. Personally, I actually de-risked quite a lot already. I'm not really massively in the market right now. I'm certainly not on altcoins. I've got 0 altcoins right now. I don't have a single altcoin. And that's something we'll discuss in a second. There's a few questions on that. Next question, right? Based on prior cycles, we are currently below target. Do you think this cycle will therefore have a bigger blow off top? Now, I'm only bringing up this question so I can debunk it, right? And no offense to you, Cactus K, but it's a very important point that we need to address. We are not below target. Bitcoin is still ahead of pace, believe it or not. If we're going by traditional 4-year cycle, right, which suggested top in Q4 2025, we actually shouldn't even be at all-time highs yet. We shouldn't be at all-time highs until around October or November, maybe September, right? And this is, if you remember, you've been watching my videos for more than 6 months, you'll see throughout the entirety of last year, I was saying the all-time high as per 4-year cycle would be likely to come in late this year. It came very early because of ETFs, but we're not behind target yet. In fact, we're still quite a bit ahead of schedule by 4-year cycle. Now, the question is, will 4-year cycle hold? That's a different question, but let's just expand on that a little bit. If we look at when the halvings have occurred historically, we had a halving back here, I believe it was July 2016. We had a halving over here, I believe it was May 2020, somewhere in May 15th, I believe. And the halving this year, I believe, was sometime in April. Could be wrong there, maybe it was early May, sometime in April, early May. Point is, we are about 100 days out from our halving, right? We've seen the halving about 100 days ago, about 3 months ago now. And if we look at 100 days from the halving, historically speaking, 100 days from the halving in 2016, we weren't even at all-time highs yet. In fact, we were well below all-time highs in 2016, and the same story in 2020, right? We did not see the pump of the bull market yet. We were still about a month out from that pump upwards. So guys, rest assured, we're actually ahead of schedule still. I mean, if you're focusing fully on the 4-year cycle, which can be debated, but if you are, we are ahead of schedule still. We're about, maybe let's say a month or 2 months ahead of schedule still. And we, so we technically speaking, as per 4-year cycle, still have breathing room. But again, the question is the 4-year cycle valid? At this point, we can't say it's not. At this point, it is still valid. But obviously, if the charts change, we have to adapt that opinion as well. But no, we are not falling behind by any means. In fact, we are still very well ahead. And I pointed this out, when we saw Bitcoin reaching all-time highs in March, I was very, very, very concerned because I was thinking, this is happening like 7 months too soon. It was concerning me massively. And I made that very public on this YouTube channel. When will I get back into altcoins, and do I have any altcoins in particular that would be good to get into? Well, let me just say this. I am not at all interested in altcoins right now. 0% interested in altcoins. I think what we've seen over the last few weeks is the exact opposite. We've seen Bitcoin dominance breach to the upside, break above a descending resistance line starting backwards from November 2020, break above resistance that suppressed it from the time Bitcoin itself reached the all-time high. Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend, a very strong uptrend. And until we break that uptrend, until we break into a clear downtrend, there's really no reason to be interested in altcoins, right? We have to trade the trends. We can't be going against the market. The market is telling us right now in this chart alone, Bitcoin dominance chart, it's literally telling us that the market is Bitcoin dominant right now. Hence the chart name, right? Bitcoin has dominance in the market. Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. If Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin is going up more than the average altcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, Bitcoin is going down less than the average altcoin. That's what this chart tells us. That's not up for debate. That's a simple fact. Now, are you going to have altcoins that occasionally outperform Bitcoin? Yes, but the general, the exception doesn't make the rule. The rule is here that Bitcoin's outperforming altcoins. We can see this from the Bitcoin dominance chart. We can see it from Ethereum BTC. Ethereum BTC breaking downwards, very clearly breaking downwards, and actually rejecting from a very strong support line it had, stemming backwards from 2020 or 2019. It's not in a good position, so I want to see both of these charts reverse. I want to see, Ethereum BTC it reverse to the upside, breach its resistance line right there. I want to see Bitcoin dominance very clearly break to the downside and enter a downwards trend. And also, I think if this was to occur, right, forget about the total 3 for a second. I'm just going to say the same thing on the total 3. I can bring it up and show you. I mean, again, Bitcoin dominance needs to reverse, Ethereum BTC needs to reverse, and the total 3 needs to break resistance as well. But ultimately, if we're talking about altcoin investing, it's based heavily on Bitcoin dominance. It doesn't really matter what happens with the total 3. The total 3 can go up, but it needs to go up more than Bitcoin. Otherwise, Bitcoin dominance won't do anything. But yes, the total 3 needs to break out as well, but that is a prerequisite for Bitcoin dominance dropping. So it's not an altcoin dominated market. We are not in an altcoin season. If an altcoin season was to begin, it would likely to begin when Bitcoin is finally done this consolidation. When Bitcoin, or if Bitcoin, but more likely when Bitcoin, hopefully, when Bitcoin breaches to the upside here, that's when I would expect altcoins to start to gain traction again. I don't think people are interested in altcoins after this consolidation. There's been too much pain in this range. People are too scared, including myself. I'm not interested in altcoin investing here at all. And for that reason, to answer the second part of your question, I have no interest whatsoever in publicizing what specific altcoins people should be buying, because I don't think they should be buying any of them right now in particular. So if the time comes, then I'll talk about it. Right, the next question. How low should we expect Bitcoin to go in the next bear market? Well, I'll simply say this. We can't answer that until we see how high Bitcoin goes in the bull market and when Bitcoin tops. If Bitcoin tops out with the 4-year cycle at a specific price point, then we can make extrapolations based on the 4-year cycle as to when and where it will bottom. If we don't see that, we have no indication whatsoever. It's literally there's not even a point in me throwing out a number. There's literally no reason to believe that I would have the answer here until we see where the top is and when the top is. I think it's actually more important when the top is rather than where the top is. But for entertainment purposes only, we do have an angle-based channel here for Bitcoin. Basically the angle from cycle to cycle halves on tops and bottoms. If we are to expect a traditional 4-year cycle, which again is up for debate, but if we are to expect a traditional 4-year cycle, we would be seeing the top in October 2025, which would be a $130,000 top roughly, and we would be seeing a bottom the following year. Let's just say off the top of my head, I think it'd be a Q4 the following year. So hypothetically speaking, let's say Q4, and that bottom would be at around $30,000. That is all hypothetical based on the 4-year cycle. And even within the bounds of the 4-year cycle, it's like, well, this channel could break and we could still hold the 4-year cycle. So it's very, very highly speculative, but for entertainment purposes only, let's just say 130K top, 30K bottom, just throw it out there. It's an observation, not a prediction by any means. Just to add as well, we do have a trend where Bitcoin drops around 80% every cycle from top to bottom. That would respect, again, that 80% trend to be about 77% or 76%, which lines up with what we saw this cycle as well. So, again, observation. Right, furthermore, on the point of making assumptions about the 4-year cycle, if this is the question, assuming the cycle doesn't break and we top out late next year, do you have a bear market strategy? Okay, my bear market strategy would be the same as the cycle we traded in this bull market publicly before. Get the hell out of all assets. Don't hold spot positions in anything. There's no reason to be holding spot bags in a bear market. You have to trade the broader market trends. Focus on leverage trade scalps, okay, or swing trades, right? Short positions, maybe you can do swing trades on the long positions. You don't want to be touching spot much in a bear market. There's no reason to. The bear market is a time which you want to be getting in and out and planning your re-entry into the market. That's what we did publicly on this YouTube channel. It did very well. We ended up selling within 48 hours of the top in 2021's bull market and buying back with average prices of 19,000 in the after the bear market. Average price, the initial buys were at 17K on the 15K bottom. It was just excellent stuff. So I would do that basically again. I hope that occurs because obviously that's very easy to predict. It's very easy to trade if it does occur. So fingers crossed for the cycle. But yeah, I don't believe in holding spot assets in a cryptocurrency bear market. It's completely irrational. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our Q&A. We have a few more questions in there, but I think I've answered the key ones that most people will get utility out of. And I think from the answers I've given, it might actually answer a lot of the questions that I did not answer. But I'll just say for the final question, when Lambo, where is it? Let me find it. When Lambo, I saw it down here somewhere. Maybe I've missed it. Okay, here. Jesus, where is it? Right, this is a lot of effort for a terrible joke. There it is. When Lambo, right, by Yo-Yo GF. Hopefully, after you watch this video and click the subscribe button, a Lambo might be delivered to your house. That is a very, very clickbaity thing to say. I kind of regret that entire joke. Let's just forget I said that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, checking out the BingX and BitTorrent exchanges. My links are down below for 15% trading fee discounts. Checking out, and this is very important actually, if you want altcoin trading signals, you can do so on Telegram. 4 times a week, I post altcoin trading signals into that group. You're also getting access, on top of the signals, and getting access to a group chat with 115 other VIP members. You can discuss the market 24/7. Very good stuff there, transparent, all of our trading results, all our wins and losses, they're all publicly available in that PDF document. And finally, the last thing I'll mention is the Become a Trader 10-unit course, teaching you how to trade in a 10-unit course with worksheets, slideshows, videos, charts, diagrams, everything you need is there. It's on sale right now as well. Limited price for a limited time. So check it out. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks.